eventually get the three.
or a big moment.
Big shot mula kay Juan Gomez Deliano.
Watch the games on
think that the most important responsibility of being a captain is you'll be the one to carry the weight. Without someone who's leading the team, may crumble and fall.
The most important quality a captain can have is to be resilient and to have a strong mental fortitude.
We will charge and be brave through the challenges that we will face going forward.
So whether we're losing a lot of rounds or winning a lot of rounds, we want to make sure this doesn't define us.
Being a team captain is leading by example.
UAAP Esports, welcome to day number 2. And of course, once again, my name is Rexler Bayani.
And I am Angelica Sarmiento.
And of course, this is day number 2 of Valorant here at the UAAP Esports Tournament 2026.
I know everyone's excited because the battle between 8 university is only getting more intense. And once again, welcome to the UAAP Esports Valorant Day 2.
And of course, for all of your posts on social media, don't forget to use our official hashtags, hashtag UAAP Esports 2026, hashtag UAAP Season 88, and of course, hashtag UAAP for everyone. And of course, before anything else, with our round of matches for today, Angelica, what will it be?
It will be the battle between Adamson, Soaring Falcons versus Ateneo Blue Eagles.
And of course, for all of our matches, keep it locked in for today as we announce the rest of the schedules as we move forward for today's tournament. So again, don't forget to comment or post your support for our UAAP Esports teams and athletes, and tag us as you watch live on the UAAP Varsity channel, Pilipinas Live, and on One Sports on YouTube.
And for those who wants to watch on site, tickets are available here at the TV5 MVP studios. So what else are we waiting for, Rexler?
Well, let's not keep everyone waiting. Let's now welcome our first 2 teams for day number 2 for UAAP Esports Valorant. Let's get it on.
did have their first soiree already from day one with Ateneo having a 0-2 standing, but they look really, really pumped up, energized for this second day. Well, of course, Adamson that did go up against Tamaraos did go in a 1-1 score fashion.
Yeah, when they went up against UST rather yesterday,
Oh, sorry, yeah, UST.
they were able to express that 1-all against UST. But you know, on the other side, UST was really aggressive too on the last few moments of the split map. But we gotta consider how good when it comes to Adamson playing out in Lotus. So we're going to be seeing the differences between Ateneo together with Adamson. But I am a little bit worried regarding Ateneo Blue Eagles as what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
They pick off Summit, and then when we went into Sunset as well, it hasn't been really going well for them. So hopefully they were able to reset, and now that they're gonna be going up against a team like Adamson soaring Falcons, hopefully they did the VODs, they did their preparation again for this.
Yeah, I really think it does feel like there might be just, you know, kind of just, as we did mention yesterday, jitters from some of these teams, right? It is another season. It is a start to the proving ground for them. That could just be day one things, then we'll see what happens coming into this second day. But of course, it's another challenge. Adamson University, even though they did finish day one, 1-1, like you mentioned, against the Teletigers, excuse me, it was such a close game. It could have been either two of those teams maybe getting 2-0'd in that game, which is how intense it was. And Ateneo, they're definitely, you know, watching that VOD, watching that stream of ours. Are they prepared for it?
I'm looking forward to that, but so far looking at our talent predictions, we have here for all of us do agree that at least each of the university will be able to get at least 1 point, because I do believe that it's just the first day. Yesterday, there's just a lot of adjustments when it comes to these teams. They also have both of their coaches are guiding them. We have El together with Carl. So I do believe that Ateneo this time, maybe they were able to form something already out of Adamson, but I'm quite scared for Ateneo rather, because Adamson yesterday they were really good. It's just that UST had that potential to just be crackheads and just keep on shooting heads, and then all of them just suddenly upgraded into something. So that's what I expected out of Ateneo. Hopefully they won't have those cold hands anymore starting on the first map.
Sure. I guess if you're talking about, you know, Adamson's performance, right, specific players that we did see really do really well, you know, before we go into the map, Vito, Manging was such a threatening omen throughout that entire series, so definitely something for Ateneo to watch out for. Anyways, map Vito, here and now, Adamson is going to straight up ban Summit, even they don't want to touch that, right? I mean, these are our, as our VO was talking about it, the aerial titans, so they want to spread out their wings, and what better maps to do that than Sunset and Breeze?
I mean, I do believe that Adamson yesterday, they were great in Sunset. The first half against UST was something that, rather for Adamson, they were confident with Sunset, because this is the same map that UE used to eliminate Ateneo. While on Ateneo, they went in for the more comfier pick, I guess, because most of the teams performing on Breeze, as you can see with the score lines, they're actually on par with each other. Well, usually we end up with 13-10s or 13-11s. So now that Ateneo has picked this, it's kind of a big gamble as well to take this against Ateneo, rather against Adamson. Let's see what will happen later on, especially on the first map, because this is going to be a big factor again for Ateneo Blue Eagles' performance for today's set of matches. And later on, if they won't be able to get at least one map, but this might be taking a toll on their standings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now that we're underway, our halfway towards this tournament already. Yesterday it was like, it's okay, you can make mistakes, you know, get those early jitters out, but now this is the time to really lock in and start getting those points, because again, for those that are, you know, just tuning in, might not know how the standings work. You only have best of twos for each and every match that we get, each and every series that we get. So what happens here is, if a team gets 2-0, that's 3 points for them if they win 2 maps. If it's a 1-1, it's 1 point for both teams. And if you get that 0-2, you get 0 points. So it really rewards teams that can net that 2-map W. And obviously now that Ateneo has a 0-2 standing, they want to redeem themselves moving forward in the series.
Yeah, it's a big challenge for Ateneo for today, and hopefully they'll be able to bag at least some points for up their sleeve. But on the other side, Adamson also, they need to get that security going into that top 4 teams as we go on with our matches. But then to those who are watching, I hope you guys are safe, you know.
Yeah,
and at the same time, to those who are supporting, to those who are watching us, make sure to comment down the university that you are supporting with the hashtags UAAP Esports 2026, hashtag Legend Start Here, hashtag UAAP Season 89, and hashtag for everyone UAAP, and yeah. 88 rather. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. And you can catch us live, guys. So as Ray mentioned, you can comment, post, show your support to the UAAP Esports athletes and teams, tag and watch us on our live streams, UAAP Varsity channel, the Pilipinas Live, and on the One Sports YouTube channel where all of this is being broadcasted. So if you guys ever missed this, you know, you weren't able to see this game, you can at least go to the channels and get yourself a nice little, you know, watch party with your friends, or maybe even with the players, and you're like, dude, I wasn't able to see your game. Now we got you. It's on YouTube. It's on our channels there. It's all there on the internet for you to see. There you go.
And we also give live updates throughout our UAP social media channels.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So make sure to check on this content. I've seen those amazing opening videos about our players, about the hype of this tournament, and knowing that this day only runs, that we only have 4 days with this run, right? Everything is just so cool to see the new storylines, new faces, old faces, everything is now here. And now that we are going into the second day, there's just a lot of storylines coming in already. And this is what Ateneo has, right? That they have to get a point at the same time with Adamson Soaring Falcons, because the next matches that they might be having will be tough as well. We've seen UE very outstanding plays together with yesterday for UST, and of course DLSU. They were really crazy matches, good players as well, a stacked composition, and especially with those surprise picks coming in from University of the Philippines. So you can really see those differences when it comes to them, when it comes to the composition, when it comes to the execution. And we've heard a little bit, you know, from their coaches and how they do their styles. It's really amazing to see that all of their coaches, all the back end stuff also are doing something, of course, so that they can prep well and they can win these matches.
Yeah. Not to get too into detail, because I don't know if the coach wants to, like, you know, reveal.
Yeah.
But I will say, analytics was like the word analytics was thrown in there a couple of times. We were talking with one of the coaches from UP. So that being said, you know that they've put a lot of effort into really just creating a structure for our teams. It's not just go into a game, use what you already know. No, they're really researching. They're really putting in the time to figure out how to approach each and every obstacle, each and every team, because matchups will never be the same. You have different opponents that will always do something different, right? When we saw with UP yesterday with San Gabriel, was such a strong player, and then we're looking here in this series where, again, you know, just kind of looking at it with Adamson, Manging, Muto who was kind of struggling, I think, in that first game of theirs, and then came back on the second. These are the kind of things that some team like Ateneo would be kind of just zoning in, really locking their eyes into this so they can just sink their talons and maybe get the win against the, you know, the other team here.
Yeah. We can see that
I don't want to take the low-hanging fruit joke. Title of this match, because we know we know what's up. It's the Aerial Titans. I'll go with that. Thank you, VO.
Yeah, I like that term, the Aerial Titans. Whoever made that. But also, it's not just Muto, but also Gutierrez. I think Gutierrez is also consistent throughout the 2 maps that we've seen him play. Muto started cold, but Gutierrez is up there to back him up.
Yes.
But on the other side, for Ateneo, yesterday we've seen you on that duelist as well. He started really cold in Sunset, so hopefully he'll be able to back himself up this time around. But again, if we start on ADU on the attacking, this might be dangerous once again for Ateneo Blue Eagles. But right now that we are just starting preparing, guys, I know all of you are excited, and we as well as Arai. But talking about also for upper maps, you know, it's really it's a given already that for Adamson, they've seen the VOD that Ateneo really got stoppered by the team from UE yesterday, so they have to pick this up. While on Breeze, I haven't seen much as to compared last year, right? When it comes to players picking up Breeze, aside from it not being in the pool. But right now, more teams are slowly getting that confidence back in picking up. And now, going into our match 1 here in Sunset, we have our Asian composition. Ateneo, Lopez is gonna pick that Wele, Antonio on that Cypher, you on that Sova, Ablang on Reyes, and Garcia on that Omen.
And of course, on the other side for Adamson, we got Gutierrez on the Phoenix, Muto on Neon, Abuan as the Chamber, Manging on the Omen, and Ataide as the Sova. This feels like a lot of forward heavy contact for Adamson, where Ateneo feels like they're going to just kind of circumvent certain things, right? You got the Sova to set up, Wele to just bypass a lot of that utility with her double dash, with her double slide, however you want to describe it, and get those aggressive picks. If it gets a little bit too hot, you can just like zip back to the team and then go somewhere else. So this is pretty interesting in terms of the overall comps.
Yeah, it seems like for Adamson, this is what I also highlighted earlier, that when you put them on the attacking at the first half, this is a big stake for the team that they're gonna be going up against, and that's gonna be Ateneo. How prepared is Ateneo for this, as what you've mentioned, straightforward pushes from the Soaring Falcons, and at the same time, just basing it on Soaring Falcons yesterday, they were just going in, barging themselves, not just only throwing their utilities, but also being mechanically gifted. So there's just a lot of what I want to see more out of Soaring Falcons. So hopefully the Blue Eagles are prepared.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with map number 1. Adamson versus Ateneo. Let's get it here on Sunset, as Adamson will be starting on the attacking team, already looking to get started on B. It's Garcia as the first contact here. Already sees the smokes being set up and everything, and backs away, calls in for reinforcements for the meantime, will allow his opponent to plant the spike, but hold on, very closely. Adamson actually chases for the push. Gutierrez using the hot hands to just slow them down, waiting for the smoke to dissipate, as he does have the curveball set in motion. Bang, all right, pushes out. They got a lot of flashes, but it's not connecting at all as Antonio comes up big with 2K. Garcia on the other side as well, trying to overwhelm. Not going to be enough. Manging 1 versus 3, throws out the paranoia, repositions with the shrouded step, but there is just too many to handle, as Ateneo able to, again, just use brute force to take back the site and take that first round.
That curveball didn't do anything, Azurai. Instead, it favored Ateneo as well. And again, this is what type of Ateneo we are looking forward to. You know, we want them to have that great set already on the first few parts of the game, especially that they're going up against an aggressive team such as Adamson. So again, this is a great start. We've seen those kills coming in from Antonio. And just yesterday, we would like also to highlight Antonio's efforts also when it comes to contributing to his team. And here we go. A huge stack from Adamson right now going into B, but will it happen once again?
Well, we'll see. There's a lot more bodies here from Ateneo to really just stop them dead in their track. Cypher, Antonio holding on News here. Does have a nice little position there. Also has his teammate, the Rays, potentially to throw out a paint shell. In any case, Adamson have been, I guess, dissuaded to try to 5-man push on B, but they are just splitting apart, and I don't know, maybe just a heat check here and there to see what's up.
And while they are currently checking that, still, Adamson quite slow on that approach, while Abuan is just making those noises here in B side just to lure some of the Ateneo roster right now. But again, after him sending some signals, seems like they just want to go back again here in B.
Well, I mean, it's not bad. They already saw that it is just the... I think maybe they saw only the Rays, Ablang. So they haven't known that Antonio is still lurking on the side here. Might not have heard his utility, but to be fair as well, there's no tripwires on the side here, so maybe they can actually just go slow access. Yep, put up. Oh, that's a couple of shots. Antonio spotted him through the cyber cage, and this is working really well. Muto does answer back with a double kill on that Sheriff, so it's not done just yet. 2 versus 3. Time is ticking down, and Antonio spots out to another one. Could be the ace, but that does get denied. Oh, that's very close. Goes in for the fake plant, tries to lure the rest of Ateneo in gunfight, and unfortunately could not win those duels.
Still Ateneo leading by 2, but kind of, but good still for Adamson on the other side, taking down 3, you know, just adding up of already for on their economy. But Antonio is really on fire so far. For the first 2 rounds, we're seeing him getting those kills. So that you've mentioned, almost an ace. And this is the type of Antonio also that we've seen yesterday, but right now on that Cypher, if he continues this performance, especially on the defending side, this might deny Adamson of their win here in Sunset. But while things are setting up onto the side of Adamson, the rest of the members of Ateneo just calm and compose, but most of them are just with each other right now.
Well, third time's the charm, right? Ooh, Muta just sizzling on his feet a little bit there through the hot hands, but it's okay. He's going to be charging through. They want to use, again, that presence that they have with the double duelist, having that Neon as well as the Phoenix. Get a little bit of foothold into deeper territories of, well, Ateneo. Speaking of which, Ateneo is actually going for a pretty sizable flank here. Not sure if they're aware of this, and look at how far Adamson has actually pushed up into the top of that B site.
Yeah, just taking it away, but Adamson, that's what we're gonna be going. Mag-game together with Busin. We'll be getting the members of Ateneo rather, and now we only have 1 left. Garcia is gonna be taken off, and once again on that full buy, it's finally worth it into the hands of Adamson. Soaring Falcons, making a good chance of a comeback already to make this into a 2-all.
This is that was a pretty clean, aggressive take from Adamson. Thought that they might have actually gotten overconfident with their positioning, but it still kind of works for them because they were able to set up the smoke, and then once they saw that Ateneo was starting to kind of just waterfall from B main, that's when they started just using their speed, their flashes and everything, and it just really stopped Ateneo dead in their tracks. Now, of course, that was just a gun round. We will have Ateneo on their gun round as well here, and this is where the game truly begins. Pop shot from Avuan through the smoke. Actually, it did hit you.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
Just a little bit of a tap. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this up I'm gonna give up this position.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
He doesn't want to make those same mistakes as well, but I think it's just still sticking on towards mid, trying to get a little bit of that distraction while the rest of the team are pushing towards A. But then again, we have the main problem here. That's going to be Antonio collecting some information as to where they're going to be going in. And now, here we have Gutierrez opening up the side, and everything goes well once again into the hands of Adamson as they push right through, and Gutierrez saw everyone.
Yeah, that's really, really strong use of the run it back, able to take some damage and information as well as to where the players of Ateneo will be coming from. Huge curveball to come through, and they are stopping them where they actually want an entry into the site, and that is the fight that Adamson wants to take. Gutierrez just stacking up bodies after bodies, and Ateneo cannot even set a single foot in that B site. Denied.
Once again, Adamson knows the weaknesses of Ateneo, just basing it yesterday, and they are really getting those ends together workable on their end. But then Ateneo, again, this is dangerous. Whenever they start on the defending side, things get really slow, and now we can really see the challenges that Ateneo might be facing. But then we start again. They don't have any economy at all, but look at the gamble from Lopez if he'll be able to get one at least.
Well, there was some contact. 3 stack from Ateneo. Aggressive push onto A main. This could be a catch onto the spike that's already somewhere on alley. They might not know about this. The timing could be crucial. Lopez does find Abuan off-cam kill. The push comes to shove. Ataide gets caught as well. This is becoming a very expensive round for Adamson, as the spike was already dropped as well. Muto now trying to pick it up once more. Uses his superior speed, but not gonna happen. Manging does assist and will at least thin down the numbers of Ateneo. Really good stuff, really good plays on A main as it gives them a little bit of leeway, but Gutierrez, of course, lurking about, able to get a couple of kills, now bringing us to the 2-2.
Antonio together with Manging. Thankfully, they didn't spot each other. But then what they want for Ateneo is that get that Cypher ultimate. And finally, with that neural theft, we'll be able to locate some of the members. But then they're far too behind when it comes to Adamson placing themselves in. So this might be crucial once again for Ateneo as they try to contact together here in B.
That's going to be quite interesting as... Oh, they do hear the camera though. So Antonio also getting some quick information on the site itself. Lopez now around the corner. Hot hands used to delay that spike. Just well timed, well placed as well. Oh, look at the positioning from Maggie. This is such a huge gambit, a huge gamble from Adamson. One in the front, one in the back. A very, very aggressive maneuver from Adamson. But you know what? They got the confidence. Definitely, truly, through their name, embodying the Soaring Falcons as they keep making these kind of plays.
Even though there were some little bit of mistakes here in A main, most, 2 of their members were already down, and now only 2 were left. They were able to still execute on a peak performance, just eliminating Ateneo off the chance once again. And now Adamson has been winning 3 rounds so far, and Ateneo, once again, where's the answer when it comes to these questions from Adamson?
That is a very good point to, kind of just discuss right now. Oof, Abuan, we need to get back into the action here because he's brought out the operator. Ablang Rays has been taken down. All right, let's just look at the minimap for the meantime. There's a lot of heat there happening as of this moment, and it really does seem that Adamson have taken the fight to Ateneo. Ateneo is trying to get them, catch them at their own speed, match them where they're at, but it's still not working. They're falling down little by little, bit by bit. And, I mean, I like Ateneo here. They've lost that fight, sure, but they're still pressing on. They're still trying to aggress. You do see that the Sova has moved his way on a bit of a big flank here and potentially could catch Adamson off guard. This is a nice little pincer play, but then he realizes that they have some eyes on him, so he just wants to double up with Antonio, maybe on Muse, and then, just kind of play the more standard 2 versus 3 retake. The problem is, it seems like Adamson is just going to commit to that B site, make sure that they're just going to take it and plant that spike down. 30 seconds is not going to be enough, or is plenty of time, because it's going to get planted. And again, it's a little bit awkward, but we're going to have to keep going with this. And the fight still ensues. You can see that there is some crossfires really set up here really well from Adamson. Ateneo. Okay, this is, honestly, I think this is the real deal. Smokes is there. Are they able to push? That's the catch onto Antonio, leaving only the Sova, and he's already caught up on Boba. Pushes up, but again, look at the crossfire. It's just a clean round, all things considered, for Adamson. And there you go, they should have won the round.
Once again, Adamson keeping up that consistency, but let's see what will happen next when it comes to Ateneo. Every time they give up the site, and Adamson is just going to be denying that potential retake that they have. But then, again, it was a beautiful start for Adamson Soaring Falcons. We've already seen this yesterday, but again, that aggressiveness is something we have to take note of. But on the other side, Ateneo Blue Eagles, they started out well for the first 2 rounds, but after that, everything has been denied. Hopefully, they'll be able to take those retakes together. Hopefully also those flashes, so it will be more rewarding on their end. But let's see more out of this action. I know it was a little bit awkward, but that's fine.
It was.
Yeah. But let's see if what will happen towards on the past round. I guess are
Yeah.
we gonna do a little bit of that rollback? I'm not sure.
I am curious though, to kind of think about what the changes were there from Ateneo. I like the idea. Again, we only saw it from the overview perspective of the minimap, but it seems like they really wanted to take that mid-fight, and it might have worked. I think the only real problem is they're facing against the Adamson that we were kind of touting yesterday as the team that really loves that double duelist comps, and every single map that they've played, they've made sure to utilize that, right? So things like, again, Gutierrez just being really, really good on the Phoenix is something to kind of just point out from, where I think if Adamson wants to go aggressive on mid and kind of go head-to-head against Ateneo in that way, or Ateneo wants to go against Adamson in mid in that way, it might not be as good, just because Gutierrez has some quick abilities to use with the hot hands, with the curveballs, and of course him himself is just a player that loves those CQCs, those close quarter combat, so it can get overwhelming, to say the least, for Ateneo.
Most of the duelists, just seeing how Gutierrez plays, and of course my observations from San Gabriel as well, they tend to sometimes do the work by themselves, but it's pretty worth it, even though it's a problem that duelists just do things by themselves, but I think it's also giving a lot on the structure that they plotted, especially with yesterday and now here in how ADU actually executes. But now that we're talking about the teams and also their experiences, I would just like to highlight something when it comes to Adamson. Yesterday, I've learned that they're also joining, practicing also in other community tournaments with here in Valorant. So I'm glad to see that they're going up against teams that are quite active in the professional scene already. So that gives them so much experience, and at the same time, maybe an upper hand, when facing this type of teams. They have to quickly make good decisions, and at the same time, the pressure of joining BO1s, right? So I think this is a good thing that they have to experience, and at the same time have to sort out of, because as you can see here, we're not talking about best of threes. We're talking about getting at least a map out of your enemies.
I like that. You just get as much again, experience as you can, and use that now when it really when you're in this kind of situation, in this kind of competition. Now, I do believe that we have fixed whatever was hounding us in terms of the visuals for our viewers out there, so hopefully we can get back into the game where you guys don't have to hear my voice and imagine what's happening. Azurite, paint me a picture of what's happening here on Sunset. Ah, yes, the horizon is just beautifully, colored with orange, but now the blues of Adamson and Ateneo have clashed in the middle of Sunset. See, those are the kind of things that you don't want to hear from me, because you want to see it happen in front of your eyes.
I didn't know you can do poetry, Azurite, live. I thought we can only do casting, and now we're doing some descriptions of the map itself.
Sure, you learn a thing or two when you have to, when you're forced to talk over such things, right? But again, we are having fun here. We are just enjoying the competition right now. I will say though, gotta say, the studio has been fantastic to be in as a caster, viewer, and obviously we haven't tried playing, but it's pretty neat. Gotta say, all of our competitors here, all of our students, all of our youths have brought out their hand warmers. I was just hearing, I think Adamson on one of the tables that they bought their own. Love that. You also hear that in international tournaments, just because you want to keep your most important appendage working, right? And that's your fingers and your hands and so on and so forth.
Personally, I haven't touched a
hand warmer.
A hand warmer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wasn't playing. Well, I haven't, because number one, I'm in the Philippines, but second is, I don't feel any pressure at all. I'm just kidding.
Crazy.
But, so, as a pro player, Azurite, I'm just kidding.
Nah, never pro. Always try.
Wow. I remember you winning a tournament, though. So, fun fact that Azurite, I casted that. Azurite actually won a tournament. But it's not a professional one. But at least you
Yeah.
can see Asarai playing maybe sooner or later here. In
We had some
UAAP.
high-ranking personalities play that, like high-ranked Valorant personalities play that. So it was pretty intense, though, even though it wasn't like UAAP levels of intensity. I gotta say.
I mean, that was best of 5, and you guys played,
You played like 5
maps. And it was a very long one. I think
Oh, yeah.
I casted that around for 7 hours, to
Oh,
be
yeah.
exact. And those games, we had like overtimes. We also had like 13-11s. Oh, you were pretty cracked, though.
Oh, thank you.
I like that Jet plays.
Thanks.
if
I had
I
someone had to
remember
be
Yoru.
someone had to be a Jet just because we needed an entry fragment and nobody wanted to entry. And this is why it's so important to love your duelists, guys, because they're the ones that entry into the site. You think that duelists are the heroes because they get all the kills? No, they're the heroes because they start the game for you.
Wow. So but you can really see it right now in UAAP, right? Again,
Yeah,
we've mentioned Gutierrez, we've mentioned you. Aside from that, the other flexible players who can fill in the shoes of being a duelist. We really have to send them more love and appreciation. But speaking of, there's the running back, but Antonio will be denied by Muto once again, giving that opportunity for Adamson to be in A site.
Yeah, this is just, again, a straight-up play from Adamson. They really love this B-side take. Again, they just know that they can bully Antonio or whoever is going to fight there. Anyways, the push out as well from Muto. Super, very much confident from him. Does finally get refragged, but again, they still have to go through the wall. Up one, through the smoke, hits the op shot. And Gutierrez on the aggressive chase. Feeling, smelling blood in the water as the only person left standing is Garcia, but he had the first shot. Gutierrez is faster, snappier, more accurate. And this is Adamson building a lead 3 rounds ahead of Ateneo.
Muto together with Gutierrez working hand in hand to making those entry very possible for them. They're, as to what we can see with their performance, they really love a B-side so far. I mean, it has always been the main entry point for Adamson University, and they can easily shut off members like Antonio, who's just waiting here in B without any responses at all also for the other members. And this is also the problem yesterday when we've seen those plays from Ateneo, that they tend to be slow when it comes to being proactive when a team already is in the site and they wanted to do those retakes.
Yeah, I guess it really does fall into their duelists to kind of get the ball rolling, or I don't know. I mean, they're calling a timeout here, so they're definitely trying to figure out what the issue is. You know, is it lack of timing? Do we need someone to kind of initiate the fight for us, like I mentioned with the duelists and whatnot? Do we need to be more vocal about this? Because again, one of the things that, through the years of casting Valorant that we've witnessed is sometimes teams tend to become more quiet, thinking that maybe the psychic mental connection is going to be there. But you need to be vocal. You need to discuss things with your team. Garcia, as the IGL, as the team leader, team captain, needs to start rallying his players and figure out a way to, kind of bring themselves out of this rut. It's still early, but they got to start now.
And you on this Sova, he's already been spotted on by Adamson University, but let's see if this will be a play from Ateneo, but hopefully, again, on A side, both of them just stacking right now. Almost a push from Adamson, but Adamson already read the room that it might not be worth it, but still, the slower the pacing is. And as Adamson tried to grab those valuable information, this might be good for them to just barge themselves here in mid.
Yeah, I mean, barging themselves, not even pushing, just breaking the Cypher tripwire is already pretty big. That forces someone from Ateneo to have to look if anybody's going to be pushing there. You can see as well that Waylay is marking Boba just in case, and this does open up a bit of a pathway for Adamson to start working their magic towards the other side onto A here. Now, Ablang has already spotted that contact. Will be using his ultimate, everything to kind of stop them dead in the tracks, and this is a beautiful, beautiful hold from Ablang, taking 2 before he does go down. It's not the end of the world just yet, as you is still here from Ateneo to defend, and Adamson, they don't know, they're not checking. Wait, they do, and Manging, has he cleared the entirety of the site? Looks like yes. One is going to be holding the corner here with the operator. 15 seconds. Spike's got to get planted. It's in the hands of Manging. And converging paths will be used. Does have his teammate though, so it feels like he's still pretty much safe. Shots connecting through the smoke. The Tracer's insane. Not enough though. Oh my goodness, this is just falling down like dominoes as Lopez is the only one in a 1 versus 3. Slowly encroaching. Might try to save the operator and live to fight for another day. But you can't see that the aggressive, proactive Abuan is right there to deny. Not gonna happen. But he's already exited the site and he's like, yep, this is not a fight that I'm gonna be winning, so might as well just save the weapon and live to fight for that next round.
We all thought that this might be a chance for Ateneo to get that good retake and actually get some valuable points up to their game, but no. Again, Adamson really good in denying those possibilities given by Ateneo, especially right now that they were also holding an operator, plus they weren't able to save it. So there's just a lot of advantages at stake for the soaring Falcons, and again, if this is just gonna be favoring Adamson, their first half is what we've seen yesterday against UST, it might be the same storyline again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll see though, right? At least for now, there is still bits and bobs that Ateneo definitely have to kind of break down. It has been, I think the thing about this is, when push comes to shove, Ateneo is getting pushed a lot, and they're not shoving back. Not enough, though. I mean, they are trying. Again, no lack of trying there from Ateneo, but still, something has got to change. And it seems the change of this is to be a bit more aggressive, peeking out through A main, as well as look at how far the Waylay is on B.
Go.
But, oh my goodness, Adamson is just coming in through mid.
Oh, perfect timing almost, but still Gutierrez is up there to take that kill back into the hands of Adamson. But again, the rest of the members are in A already, opening the side, and the mid part of this map has always been not looked at by Ateneo, but then Abuan takes down one member again and again, and the placements at and the positioning of Ateneo, it's just rattled out against Adamson. So you can really see the bigger problem with Ateneo right now. They try to take at least some kills, but not gonna be workable. But let's see, Abuan on this operator, of course, and obviously still popping off, denying once again Ateneo of that match.
This was some really sick fights that we just witnessed. So many quick trades from Ateneo, and honestly, it looked pretty solid for them. Garcia already had position on the spike, started to defuse it, maybe. I don't know if he had time to put down a dark cover to give himself that smoke so that he can at least start, defusing the spike in peace. Maybe half it first before Abuan starts to deal with him, who only had the operator, by the way. So there's a point where Abuan could have felt forced to just check it. Anyways, Adamson, let's go. Again, just rushing through B.
They have nothing to be scared of. At this point, they already know what's gonna be coming next from Ateneo. But then Yu takes out his utilities, but the perfect timing from Muto is up here, and now again and again, B has been their favorite spot right now for the soaring Falcons. And again, this is gonna be a big problem for Ateneo. They don't have any guns at all. They don't have everything on hand. So you're already expecting that this round once again going favorable to the hands of the soaring Falcons, as we only have Ablang by himself. Being taken on. Okay, we're gonna be doing those stunts here. Will it be worth it?
You should pay more attention.
Atide taking out his knives, denying Ateneo once again. Adamson is just waking up this time. They don't want to give this map at all to Ateneo.
That was phenomenal. You love to see it. And then he just gets the stab. There was some gentleman's agreement there on who gets to, or who's just gonna go straight for the knife fight. I love to see it. Love to finally witness it here at UAAP. Now we go into the next round. Still the same problems ensue for Ateneo here. How the heck do you deal with Abuan? Oh, okay. Random Hunter's Fury. Get some damage in maybe. Scan a portion of these mains. Oh! And this is just, again, they're getting caught off guard. Adamson is just, the timing, the ferocity of Gutierrez and the rest of them, just too much to handle.
And as what we've been seeing again and again, mid part of Ateneo has always been favorable to the side of Soaring Falcons, and now he will be open up once again. Gutierrez just getting the tap good and leaving only Garcia by himself. Adamson always here in A it has been consistent for the past 4 rounds, and seems like Garcia won't be able to get anything at all as Gutierrez gets a 3K. It's a 9-2 so far, Azrai, and Ateneo right now, they're pretty cold.
Yeah, this is just not at all what I think Ateneo wanted to get in terms of like the performance and the results of the rounds in this first half. Adamson, they're the ones that are really just soaring high, being able to outpace whatever the the win streams are, able to really ride on that. Anyways, analogies aside,
Let's play.
I've once brought out the multi-operator. Oh, the dash in from Muto. Love to see it, but Garcia's just, he's had enough. He's like, no, not gonna happen this time. Gonna deny you. You're gonna get stopped. No more shenanigans from this Neon.
exactly where you are.
And again, at least he has that neural theft also that he can capitalize. They finally learned after rounds of Adamson just bursting right through here in mid. But right now that they don't have Gutierrez on that Neon, what will be the next step for Adamson this time? They've always been comfortable about Gutierrez opening up the side, getting those fast-paced moves. But now that they're far more passive and they can only rely on those curveballs, what will be their answer? But again, is King actually aware as to the placement of Garcia is? But at least Abuan on the other side of the map was able to take down someone else.
Yeah, he's kind of doing it by himself. Just straight up again. Oh, Garcia's got it. The perfect positioning. They haven't even cleared him at all. And there's the pincer play for Ateneo. Another one right in front of their faces. Mangi's gonna get caught, and we are down to Abuan in 17 seconds. He's got to make his move, and he's running for his life for potentially his team, but it's not gonna happen anymore. He's get caught, and there it is. You with the backstab. Ateneo will be ending this first half 3-9.
Switching sides.
At least might be a
30 seconds left.
A curse and at the same time a blessing for Ateneo. It's still 19 plus. We're gonna be switching sides to their favor, which is attacking here in Sunset. So what will Ateneo do this time now that they've seen this big of a gap against them together with Adamson? So now that again, when it comes to their race together with that Wele, we're gonna be seeing those verticalities of how they will be entering a side. While on the other side, Adamson, they have those concusses coming in from Muto. They also have those shock darts just to stop this aggressive pushes coming in from Ateneo. So Ateneo, they have to make it worth for the next 2 rounds as they're gonna be playing it against Adamson.
Well, speaking of which, they're trying to, and they're actually making it work. Garcia is able to spot out a couple of them, but this aggression from the defending side of Adamson is still working out. They've already dropped down that spike. A couple of good damage on Antonio. Still, there could be quick rotations that will allow Ateneo to get into a site themselves. Looks like it's working so far. Abuan's just in a 1 versus 3. Yu's been pretty good on these fights. Not going to be good enough to take the beat down against Abuan, but he is down to 15, taking that almost lethal damage, and this is very workable for Ateneo 1 versus 2.
Abuan checking every corner as to where Ateneo is gonna be coming at, but then look at the positioning from Ateneo. They don't want to to risk those shots anymore. They just want to wait for Abuan to come right in front of them. But the timing might be perfect for Abuan if in case. But they already spotted as to where he's going to be coming from. But then Lopez has let go of it. And Antonio also is low on HP. Abuan making the impossible possible. Adamson on a double-digit scoreline.
Unbelievable. Not possible for Adamson to clutch that. Abuan. I'm just going to let the silence sit just a little bit longer because this is shock and awe. What is that? Lopez was holding the position. You kind of understand that Abuan probably didn't know, but he checked just in case, and Lopez didn't really move this position and paid the price for it. Abuan's just in a whole other plane of existence right now. And he is just someone that Ateneo does not want to mess with.
Abuan making the magic work, I guess, and now there's no stopping him. He takes down once again another member from the Ateneo, and now the push for them might be denied. I guess with the performance of Abuan for the past few rounds, that's just only early on that clutch. This is giving Ateneo and denying that win might be. And now leaving only 3 members left. And this might be a force already for Ateneo because they don't have nothing left up for them. Garcia all by himself, taken on by Ataide. We are now 3-11, 2 left before Adamson can take another map win out of the hands of Ateneo.
It's so close to the finish line of this first map. Muto is just, yep, there it is. 2 more rounds, like you mentioned. And it doesn't feel like there's anything wrong that Ateneo's doing, right? They're making sure, using the Sova drone on B main. They're like, okay, we're gonna check, see if someone has gone a little bit too far forward. It works. I mean, they make sure that it's clean, sure, but then Abuan's like, you know, I have the timing here. I know that I'm just gonna let them cook a little bit. False sense of security, right? Start pushing in, get my quick little pick there, and that split second, bang, hits a shot, gets a kill, backs away, and then you force the hand of Ateneo. They have to do something.
Again, EDU already knew what will be the type of team that they're going to be going up against. And now that they're maximizing their composition, this is really rattling a lot on Ateneo, and that by itself seems like you is already stuck in a corner, and the spike as well. So this is going to be forcing Ateneo to take on this battles, leaving only 2. We also have that overdrive from ADU, and it seems like Muto just wanted to get that ace, finding Garcia those valuable information as to where he is, just following right through, trying maybe to make his teammates. Okay, guys, I'll be giving you the ace. Oh no, it was denied. Ataide, we thought you're gonna be working with Muto just to get his ace here. But you know what's more important? We are already on a match point after a quick take from the Soaring Falcons.
You can see the players of Adamson just, yeah, there it is. He's like, bro, don't do this to me. All right, not the ace, but the map, that was the play that pushed him to map point. Okay, still, maybe Ateneo can ring in a few rounds. We'll see, right? Oh, the paranoia is just beautiful. Muto as well, just banking off of that with the overdrive, and they have felt it. They know what's about to happen. I am the inevitable. We are the inevitable here as Adamson is creeping in to the territory of Ateneo. Spike. Where's the spike in their hands? Gutierrez finds Garcia. That's the high-low for them. You, as well as Antonio, the ones to remain. It's just another one, and he's so far from the situation. He's been forced to lurk, and he's the attacking team. He's the attacking player, and his spike is dropped all the way in downtown. Timing. Abuan's already spotted the first one, and he just uses the headhunter. Beautiful cranium shot, and Adamson, Soaring Falcons, will get themselves that first map.
They said yesterday during the interview that they wanted to get that 2-0, and they're finally getting that first step. They just only need to win the next map, and their promises will be done. Again, Adamson, we've already spotted their potential yesterday, and now here on Sunset, they already knew what's coming in front of them. Taking notes of the weaknesses from Ateneo Blue Eagles, but this is kind of heartbreaking for Ateneo. As what you said, there's just a lot of plans already. You can see the execution really going well, but it seems like their hands are pretty cold. You can see some missed shots at the same time, and those displacement when it comes to their position, which gives a lot of opportunity for Adamson on the other side.
It's just, it just feels like Adamson are just the quicker team. I think that's the best way to describe this. Ateneo knows what they want to do, but their setup just feels like it keeps getting dismantled by Adamson just because Adamson's just one step ahead. They're already there. They're setting up against them, but they're already setting up to try to counter you, right? It's those kind of things that made it so difficult to be in the shoes, to be in the seats of Ateneo. How did they get themselves out of that kind of rut, out of kind of that hole that they're digging themselves in when their opponents are just this cracked? I think is the best way to give that more emphasis.
Look at this clutch by Abuan. We all thought that Lopez is quite aware of the situation, but still, Adamson, even if they started really slow yesterday, this is a different type of Adamson we're seeing on the first part, and if this is gonna be continuing now on Breeze, for Ateneo, this is a difficult situation that they have to get out from.
That definitely they do. And of course, the MVP of this game is Gutierrez. 18, 8, and 8. Man, a lot of 8s in that one. 320 ACS. He has been racking up the body count. We were talking about how Abuan was like, let's say the clutch player, right? But Gutierrez was the spear tip for Adamson, really starting things for the team as that Phoenix, right? Every time that they needed someone to just get into the site, really just battering ram, it's Gutierrez that does it.
Well, looking at it, Gutierrez really maximizes effort. We've been talking about him since earlier on, Asaray, and hopefully he'll be able to give a statement as to where things are going to be coming from, as to what was his plans, and what is his comments, of course, about the game. So let's pass this on to Angelica. Okay.
Thank you, casters. So congratulations! Congratulations, Adamson, Soaring Falcons. And now I am with our MVP of Game 1, none other than Gutierrez. Gutierrez, congratulations. What do you think worked for you in winning the Game 1?
So I think kaya kami nanalo because nagtiwala kami sa isa't isa, tapos kapag may mistakes, tinatry lang namin like yung sinasabi nila na goldfish memory, na kapag nagkamali ka, move on na lang kayo sa next round.
That's right. Teamwork is the key. And now, we still have our Game 2. What can we expect from the Adamson Soaring Falcons for Game 2?
So ano lang po, keep the same energy. Kahit matambakan po kami, okay lang po. Lagi lang po namin yung mindset na makakahabol po kami.
Okay, and lastly, do you have any message to our supporters out there watching and supporting you guys?
So thank you sa mga tropa ko dyan, tsaka sa girlfriend ko, tsaka shoutout sa mama ko, tsaka sa pamilya ko.
Thank you so much, Gutierrez. And once again, congratulations and good luck on the Game 2. And for those who are watching at home, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our UAAP Varsity channel, YouTube channel, and One Sports and Filipinas Live. And for those who wants to watch on-site, tickets are still available while seats last, so wag nang magpahuli. And now I'm gonna throw it back to our casters. Take it away.
Thank you so much for that one. It was very quick, and I love the answers that we got. Again, we're back here. My name is Asaray. With me here is Abyss. You're not Ray Ray. What happened?
Well, I mean, I just gotta swap out a little bit. Gotta get a little bit of the casting for today.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
get in the second game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It was the first map that we got to see, right? And you said it was a quick one, right? But you know, this is map number 2, and the first map was, I believe, Adamson's map pick. So
Yeah.
there's that to take into account. But yeah, I'm hoping, I'm excited to be casting this matchup here. It's gonna be an interesting one.
It really is, because again, you know, we were talking. I was talking about this with Ray Ray on that first game of ours, right, with the series, where it just felt like on the Ateneo side, it looked like they had, or that they had things that they wanted to do, and it seems like they weren't doing it wrong, right? The setups were okay, right? Antonio was holding the site that he needed to. I think he just needed maybe a little bit more support from some of his teammates, so that he doesn't get like overwhelmed once the shock darts coming in, and or his utility gets broken down. He can get at least that extra bit of assistance from his teammates, which he didn't get, I think, for the most part of that that hold that he was trying to take on B. And then the aggression that we saw from Ateneo on mid, where they were trying to match Adamson's control on mid as well. Looks like it was just working out, but I think it just didn't seem like it was just enough. Like, it's just barely there, and then Adamson just is at the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt like watching the entire game, right, you know, from the side, and I got to see that it felt like Adamson just felt more cohesive. And in a sense, a step ahead of Ateneo at every single moment, right? And Ateneo, you mentioned, right, it didn't look like they had bad ideas per se. The problem was that Adamson just felt like they knew exactly how to counteract a lot of the positions Ateneo were holding. And even when Ateneo had a plan in mind, Adamson's felt like it covered more possibilities, in a sense.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. It just feels like there's just so many more options, right, for Adamson.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of given to them, but just how the capacity, I guess, of their front and back have been. Anyways, I think we are going to go on a quick little break, I believe. Oh, okay, sorry. Well, we are still, I guess, waiting, because there we go. We have the talent predictions.
I see. I mean, we were talking about how, you know, I mean, you can see from the talent predictions, right, that we were predicting 1-1. And Adamson were able to take the first map, it seems, at the moment. The thing is, what I did notice is that first map felt a little bit dominant, a bit too dominant for my taste, for our tastes, it seems, because we all predicted 1-1. We think it's going to be an even matchup, but at the end of the day, it feels like right now, Adamson might just take this as a complete 2-0, but I'm not entirely sure if that will be the case, especially since Ateneo will be on the map pick next. So I'm kind of hoping that this will be a more competitive series going into this next match.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree, right? It's going to be Breeze, so there's a potential that, again, something could change up. But again, I guess we're just going to have to see, right? I think one of the biggest things that some of the things I'm really just looking forward to see is how effective I think the duelists will be in Breeze moving forward. Because, you know, you also have to kind of think about how Yu's going to be feeling in this, where Gutierrez is able to match him up. Is he going to be able to rally himself back up? Is there going to be words of encouragement from their coaches, the team lead, the captain, Garcia, to just, like, you got this, man. If you can, whatever you need, we're going to support you. Whatever you need, we're going to be assisting you and just making sure that you get that groove. And once you get that groove, we're going to be piling behind you and making sure that we keep getting the cascading these rounds. I don't know if that's going to be happening here, but I don't know. Ateneo just has to kind of mix something up. Just have to get a different approach now that they're heading up against an Adamson that is just so focused in.
Yeah, I feel like Adamson had a great series yesterday, and they're delivering that here again as well on day number 2. And I like the fact that you pointed out the IGL, right? Garcia and, of course, the coach, Coach L. They both need to, like, get the team together. And at this point of the time, Ateneo are 0-3, right?
Yeah.
So the mental may get to them. The struggle might get to them. But I'm certain that since this is a competitive scene, they are at the highest of their level in their own respective schools. I'm sure they're looking to somewhat regroup and, you know, relax a little bit and enjoy the game to a degree. Now, obviously, we have to take into account that there's a lot of pressure as well, expectations. But at this point, I think they just need to let go of the expectations and try to play the game they want to.
Yes. I love that. You know, just remove everything that is kind of tethering you, chaining you,
Yeah.
limiting you, and just focus on what you already know. Focus on what already makes us feel, or what we know makes us great.
Yes.
Right? I love that. I love that. I really definitely want to also hear the thoughts maybe of Ateneo later on onto how they're trying to get themselves out of this kind of cycle that they've been put in, right? Because again,
Yes.
we only have 4 days of UAAP Valorant, and this is the second day already, and this is their second series that they're playing. They've gotten
Yes.
that 0-3 with, against UE, or sorry, that 0-2 series, which resulted in 3 points for UE, and there's not really a lot of time to adjust anymore. This is the time to show that they've got what it takes. And again, the story is just there. That's the path for them. Because right now we can talk about Adamson over and over again, but we already know that they've proven themselves, right, against the fight that they had against the Teletigers, and now looking even more dominant in this fight against Ateneo. And Ateneo is really looking to get that rally back up to maybe rally themselves up back to full swing.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, right, we only have 4 days, and the 4th day isn't even going to be group stages anymore, if I recall correctly. It's going to be the playoffs at that point. So you're really worried about the fact that you only have these last 2 remaining days to make things count. You need to make sure that you win out as many games as possible, you get as many points as possible to make it to that final day in the playoffs. And you know, again, it's all about that sort of mounting pressure that goes in day by day. And you have 2 teams that won 2-0, by the way. 2 teams with 3 points already, which gives them a somewhat secure lead going into the next few group stages. Now, I am worried for the teams that did go 0-2, which were, of course, which was Ateneo as one of them, obviously. And so I'm sure they're gonna like try and come up with something, try and come up with a strategy that will change things up in their favor going into the second match in this series against Adamson. Now, Adamson, I'm sure they just want to continue on their momentum. They went 1-1 yesterday, sure, against USC Teletigers, but at the same time, they made the second game that they lost a very competitive one nonetheless. So they're definitely still very much powerful in this series, despite going 1-1 yesterday.
I love that. Powerful in this series, right? And now I'm just looking at this. There it is. The rally. You know, showing that they are still as one. I love to see that from a team. They know there is no doubt in their mind that they are still able to perform, are still able to win, right? And that's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of energy that Ateneo needs right now as we are preparing ourselves to get into this second game, into the final hour, right? They really need to step up.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that transpires, right?
Yeah, I wonder how that will transpire as well. And between these 2 teams, right, Ateneo versus Adamson, again, you know, they're both, you know, very much strong competitors. And you know, across the seasons, you actually see that, again, I kind of used a similar storyline when it was against UE as well. But Adamson also was a team that never really made it to semis, right? But Ateneo was always in the semis when it came to the past 2 seasons. Now, Adamson, right now, they are on 1 point. And if they do end up winning this 2-0, they may be able to make it to that semis that they so desired for in the previous 2 seasons.
That's true. I mean, they have been performing, you know, at that level that everyone knows that they are a team to fear, right? Which I definitely like. But again, just goes back to, I think, the theme now of UAAP 2026 season, or season 88, that everybody has gone to that that next level, and everyone has really upped their game and brought their A game even.
Yeah.
And oh boy, this has definitely put I don't know, put a mark on history, I think, for UAAP Valorant.
Yeah, I think UAAP Valorant is definitely looking so much more different compared to what we've seen before. In fact, again, all the storylines that have been built up based on the previous 2 seasons are being completely shattered here. Whereas, again, it's all about defying expectations that a lot of these teams have been doing so far, and they're making a lot of upsets, I'd say. I mean, I'm definitely upset that my predictions are completely wrong at the moment, but that's besides the point. The idea here is that a lot of these teams that were underestimated are now proving to everyone that doubted them that they are a team to be to not be how to say it, underestimated. Yeah. In a
Sure,
sense.
sure. Yeah, I get you. Like, they're putting their cards in the mix, right?
Yeah.
They're not a team that when you see them, when you hear them, they're like, this is just, we know them because they're in the UAAP. No, we know them because they've made their statement in the UAAP.
Exactly.
That's how they're. I love that because again, it's being proven true time and time again in these past in these 2 days that we've just been witnessing all of this competition. So, with all that being said, we are again just moments away to get into this second game. And while we do have that time, just wanted to give a big thanks, lots of big thanks to our viewers out there that are giving much love and support to the UAAP Esports Tournament 2026. Don't forget to comment or post your support for UAAP Esports athletes and teams. Tag and watch us live on the UAAP Varsity channel, Pilipinas Live, and on the One Sports YouTube channel. And of course, we are going to be tagging and commenting. Don't forget to use hashtags UAAP Esports 2026. Legend starts here, UAAP Season 88, and for everyone, UAAP.
And here we have it, folks. We are going to be seeing the agent selects between Ateneo Blue Eagles versus the Adamson Soaring Falcons. And right off the bat, we're seeing a very similar sort of idea with the double controller, the Omen Viper, which I am a pretty big fan of. Of course, the Sova as well, but I am seeing a slight difference in duelists as well. And I wonder if that'll be a change in play between the two teams.
That could be a thing that does happen here. Is this the first time we're seeing the KO as well be brought into UAAP,
so.
right?
Yeah, I think it is.
We've usually just seen primarily the Fade and, oh my goodness, I forgot my initiator, Sky, and so obviously Sova,
yeah, Sova
right,
as
as our standards. But I think this is the first time we're going to be seeing the KO, and that I really think is quite interesting because usually teams don't really appreciate the KO so much on Breeze just because it's way too big of a map and the flashes aren't as effective compared to Skies that you can just, go through hallways and then bang, guiding light.
Yeah, I feel like KO is a lot really underestimated in these games at times, but let's see how it plays out here because Garcia is moving towards A site, which Adamson is going to be going towards. It is going to be an open site at the very least, so Adamson should get the plant out as Muto is trying to look for a pick here. Antonio with the Sheriff able to land the kill to Gutierrez. 4 versus 5 now. It's going to be a retake position for the side of Ateneo as they're going to be looking to slowly play this out through mid. Abuan holding onto the doors. Yu to make contact here, but doesn't clear him out. Now he's going to be looking for a second one, but Ablang able to take out the Viper. Now looking for the swing, able to get a second to the Muto. Now a 2 versus 4. Ataide finding a Sova diff here already on the pistol round. And it's all down to Ataide in the 1 versus 3. He finds a second, but Garcia puts him down. It's going to be pistol round to Ateneo.
There you go. That's a solid first round here from Ateneo. Able to get trades that they need. Just be stable, not overcommit the fights. And again, just keep that slow retake of map control going. And we're going to see here on the highlights how that kind of really panned out. You can see little by little, they're actually just encroaching the entirety of this A site, not leaving anything to chance, not leaving any stone unturned. Love to see that. That is, again, that gonna allow them to buy up into the next round.
Yeah, I feel like there was a really good play coming out from the side of Ateneo. Instead of hard contesting the entry point down through mid, they instead wanted to play towards the retake right, force Adamson to kind of be a bit worried. Where are the Atenean players? So they forced them to scale up towards backside, and they were ready. Antonio was ready for the opening pick there onto Adamson. They regroup. Ateneo regroups down towards mid, recontests that mid position, and then takes through door, able to kind of pincer the rest of Adamson on site, and that's exactly how they were able to win out that round.
I like that, right? You just have a little bit more options rather than just rushing through on a main here. Of course, with Breeze losing bridge, that's kind of like the only way you're able to access the A side. Unless you really push your way through Nest and then all the way back. I mean, maybe not, but but at least, right? I like it. You definitely options available here for Ateneo.
Yeah, I'm still also looking at this KO, by the way. Like, again, we were talking about it in the pregame, right? How this KO, the agent itself not very utilized as much anymore, except for maybe a few exceptions. Maybe maps we haven't seen yet, we see KO. But Breeze right now, as you mentioned, KO not really played out as much because it's a huge map. The 0-point dagger may not have as much of an effect. But I'd like to think that the idea, as to at least my theory behind why Ateneo is picking KO, is because he has a lot of good flash angles. I mean, yes, Sky can do the same, but you're also looking at the idea that there are some small corners where the fragment of KO can clear out, and that null command kind of makes things a lot easier for especially B site retakes.
That makes a lot of sense, right? And I mean, when you have that null command as well, right? When your opponents might potentially use utility to over push and you need to retake, right? It's a lot easier. And of course, when you can use him as a battering ram, he can get revived when he has that null command. So I do see the potential there. So excited to see how that's going to be unraveling.
I mean, the thing about potential, though, is that you really need to act it out. Like, you can have the theory behind it.
Yeah.
The problem is you need to actually play out the strategy. And if you're unable to do that, right, then there's no real point in having a theory craft such as that. But so far, Ateneo, I am looking towards that KO to make a big impact. But right now, I think it is the pistol round. We still have yet to see. We have yet to see what more Ateneo have in store for us, but they were able to win it out at the very least, giving them that advantage going into this second game. And I'm sure they would be loving any form of advantage, given the fact that they are down 0-1 in this series so far.
No, for sure, right? Anything and everything that you can take, you will try to take.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's definitely a want right now from Ateneo, and as well as a need. So, you know, you don't usually hear a want and a need at the same sentence or the same situation, but it's going to happen. Okay, now we're back. Here we go. Ateneo didn't really see the buy of the rest of the team, but it seems like some of them are just going to be on the pistols. Bit of an aggressive smoke here for Adamson, and it seems like they are setting their way onto B.
This will be a B-side take. And in fact, they use the dark cover to actually just get the orb, it seems. Like, they don't want to contest it. They do have a lurk all the way towards A main with Abuan holding on to that entry point. So they are going to be re-rotating. The orb collection is very good, especially if you can get in the Phoenix, who has been nerfed, by the way. No longer a 6-point ultimate, 7-point ultimates now. But it's still very much a strong ultimate to have, a strong piece of utility to have, especially on the attacking side. And it seems like they are leaning towards A for this.
Just think about this. Phoenix is just the fastest agent that gets the orb, because it's a duelist, right? So he gets killed, you give him an orb, he gets kills, he gets an orb. So it's still pretty fast, even though it's just, you know, nerfed to 7.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, right, it's going to be a plant as well for the Phoenix. So another orb for the taking. Adamson will be able to take A site, and it will be a retake for Ateneo. They do have the recon dart. The toxic wall may make this a bit difficult, but the 0-point dagger, able to tag out a few. I'm not sure if it got the Viper, however.
Yeah. Well, it did not, so it still is pretty much alive and running. Ateneo is just slowly pushing together as a unit. This is working so well for them. The lineup, though, from Abuan. Ooh, that was very, very close. A couple more kills, but Ateneo, in the end, ultimately taking it back. Okay, this is good. We are seeing, again, a lot more composure from Ateneo. They've reeled themselves to a more calm demeanor, and it is showing. But now the challenge is set, as Adamson will have their purchase of their gun round.
It is going to be the bonus, indeed. And as we're going to another little tech pause here, it does seem right now that Ateneo, they were able to win out the first 2 rounds, but the thing is, the one thing I'm worried about is that they do look a little bit shaky, right? There's a lot of openings that some of the players on the side of Adamson are finding. And so far, Ateneo are giving them the space to take site, giving them the space to plant, but that might really come back to bite them. I feel like Ateneo, the more they give to Adamson, the more Adamson will decide to take, and I think they'll get greedier. Now, Ateneo can take advantage of that. The question is, will they be able to read it in time, right? Will they be able to read the strategy Adamson is going to be pulling out based on the space they are taking? So Ateneo need to be very much on their toes, while Adamson definitely don't want to be pushing too much further into their plays.
Yeah, and no, that's a completely valid point. Because, again, in like other tournaments, right, where we track a lot of the post plants, right? We try to know how many times has the attacker gotten the site and planted successfully, because that's a super important metric where, because that if you're a team that makes that happen often, that just means that your ability to attack is successful, your ability to keep your creds high is pretty successful as well, and that just gives you more options in the end, because if you're in a firefight and you keep just getting the plant and your opponent might win a couple of times but not, have players survive long, their creds, their ability to buy back is going to be in shambles.
It can definitely be in shambles, right? And I'm sure right now, Adamson definitely want to put Ateneo in shambles as the Phoenix gets another orb. And he does have the spike, which means he will have to run it back on this retake. And this is what I mean, right? You give up sight, you give them the orbs, right? They can be picked up for Gutierrez. And now he'll have the ultimate to counteract Ateneo's retake, their reposition. And Ateneo, they're doing the same shot they did in pistol. Reclaim mid, go for this pincer, but not sure if it'll really amount to much because they are being watched.
Yeah. One is pretty aware of the flank coming through, and he does actually take the fight. Whoa, takes down Lopez. Does have a smoke to give him some cover, as well as the snake bite, though. He might actually just push against this. And, I mean, while that was happening, Gutierrez and Ataide have done the same on the other side. What a trap set and sprung, but Ablang able to deal with it. Yu's going to be the only person left alive on the Ateneo side, and he's already realized, yep, that spike's about to blow. So get on out of here and save the Vandal for later on.
Yeah, at that point, right, you just want to save the rifle. And, a clean round from the side of Adamson as well. They were able to take the site. They were able to play against the retake of Ateneo, but they did lose 3 players. But crucially, they did not use the Phoenix ult. They did not use the run it back. So that means they can look to push down towards B this time, which is what I'm actually expecting. Phoenix is very strong in close quarter pushes, really rushing in. As you mentioned, right, very quick to build the ultimates, very quick to go forward as well as a duelist alongside this Neon as a second entry. And I think that is going to be the case here most likely.
Well, they do also have the Hunter's Fury, so very much 1-2 punch. Lopez, yeah, with the operator catching Muto, giving away the location. Could be big. Oh, he's down to 10 though, so he's got to be careful. But an operator is a one shot, one kill, so he can at least hold those more or tighter angles and just take a shot, go back. However, it's a 5 versus 4. Ateneo still in the driver's seat here.
Ateneo definitely still have the advantage in a sense that they have a lot of angles on lockdown, and Adamson, they're looking a bit hesitant. They don't want to overextend into any sort of play, but they are still leaning towards that B site. And so the rest of Ateneo, they should be able to read something like this here, as Antonio is trying to recontest the site itself on A, whereas Adamson definitely look like they're going to be leaning towards recontesting mid, which could be the potential play for them.
Well, this is looking to be a bit of a calmer situation for Adamson. They want to make sure they don't really get caught. But speaking of which, Abwan spotted once again. Oh, well, this is where you're getting value from that KO blade, right?
True.
On through the walls, gets exposed. You also get suppressed there.
10 seconds left.
Can't really do anything. And
it's a save.
They're just stuck. Rocking a hard place. Can't really move.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be saving on the side of Adamson, but they actually get 2 more players, in fact, but Garcia doesn't go down without a fight just yet, able to go for 1 for 1 at the very least. It's going to be 3 for 3 at the end of the day, but Ateneo do get the round based on the map control they had. Very rare do we see saves like this from a team, but, first for everything. And Adamson, once again, they are going to be on the back foot this time around, and I will say Ateneo are looking a lot much cleaner in this game.
Yeah, I agree. This is looking very, very clean for the Ateneo roster. And we've been, touting the Soaring Falcons for the rest of the series. But now the Blue Eagles themselves are starting to spread their wings. And it is looking like they are taking round after round in stride. So all that being said, and again, we are just, taking a bit of a breather here. How is now we put the question on Adamson. How does Adamson react to this setup? To Lopez having the operator now, taking these aggressive stances, these aggressive shots, and it's working for him. You know, what was this as well? I believe that was like Garcia, the team captain, that's also being able to shut out Abuan, which has been a thorn, right, on the side of Ateneo from that first game. If they're able to really just plug up these weaknesses that they had before, they have a pretty solid situation, solid moment in the sun right now here on Breeze.
Yeah, I think right now Ateneo definitely want to continue on the momentum. They want to control. What they've been doing so far has been working, right? Is that they give up A site, they more so contest mid and B, and that is what they've been doing. I like the more proactive play they did on that 4th round, and that they tried to push up B elbow, and it worked out in their favor with that opening pick with the operator. The question is now, will they do something similar going to the next one, or will they decide to play it like the previous two? They want to play it a bit safer. They want to give up sight. I'm wondering what their idea is, because I think there is the potential to switch things up. Maybe they'll look for an A main contest with that operator. I personally would lean towards that call, but again, I'm not Ateneo. I'm not the Ateneo team. I wouldn't know what exactly they're going to be wanting here, but that is an idea that can come into their heads, because I'm sure Adamson will look to build up more ultimates given the fact they're getting so much space.
That's a very solid point, right? Because again, like you saw from the previous rounds, all they really have to do, all Adamson really has to do, is set up those more aggressive smokes, just pick up the pick up the orbs, and then Bob's your uncle. You're good. You do it a couple of more rounds, and you're gonna have Gutierrez back again with his run it back, which could make it a lot more difficult against Ateneo here. And again, we just talking in again that Ateneo has been giving up the sites for the most part, but now they're starting to push back. So we'll see if that happens more, that they start pushing back. That's going to be pretty important.
Yeah, I think Adamson definitely are going to try and like hard contest Ateneo. And by the way, we're talking about the game and stuff, but you can see the players here. They're definitely trying to relax a little bit as the technical pause is ongoing. They're really just enjoying themselves as well. I'm sure the players, this is a competitive game. It's a very high pressure scenario for all the teams, for all the players, for sure.
Yeah.
But they still find the time to enjoy themselves and, enjoy the occasion that is the UAAP Esports tournament. Which, by the way, guys, once again, if you want to catch the action live, make sure to catch us on the TV5 studios in Mandaluyong City, on the MVP studios. And of course, if you aren't able to watch it live, you can, of course, catch it on the UAAP Varsity channel, Pilipinas Live, and the One Sports YouTube channel.
Oh, yes. And, show your supportive colors as well. Maybe when you're going to watch here, wear the colors. We've seen that yesterday from the fans, the other students, the parents as well, from teams like the Teletigers, the Tamaraos, UP, everyone basically has worn their colors. And speaking of colors, the players themselves, not just the jerseys, some of them striking with mouse and keyboards that are white and blue.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Funnily enough, they're both white and blue in a sense, right?
Exactly.
And they are, right? So you can see like it's somewhat of like a mirror matchup, right? In the sense that they both represent their own colors, their own schools, and yet they're very much similar in their own ways, right? I mean, they're either school animal, right? Both birds as well, right? So there's that sort of connection between Adamson and Ateneo that they're very much alike, but very much different at the same time. And I love this kind of analogy we're bringing into this, that they want to represent their colors, to represent their school in their own way. But right now, one team has somewhat of a clear advantage over the other.
It's a clash in the sky to see who can fly high.
Oh, I love. Okay. I like that. I like that.
This is what happens when you give us more time to talk about whichever, and as we wait for the game.
we get a bit more creative, it seems. We can come up with more lines in a sense.
That's true. That's true. Well, again, happy to be here. Gotta say, it has been a treat to see how these teams have been, going as competitive as they can, but at the end of the day, still having that camaraderie, that enjoyment. Yeah, do the fist bump. Enjoy yourself.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not sure if they're fist bumping the audience or they're trying to fist bump the cameraman.
It's both.
It's both.
You can't fist bump the audience if you don't fist bump the camera, because the audience is watching through the camera.
You're right. Yeah, fair enough. And by the way, you know, given the weather situation as well, it's a little bit difficult for people to come on site and support the teams. But there are still some of the people in the audience that are supporting Ateneo and Adamson as well. And I love to hear the crowd, albeit a small crowd, but a very energetic crowd nonetheless. And they are definitely giving their all to make sure that their teams know that they're being supported.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. We love that support, though. This was just something that would love to have also experienced back in my day. Anyways, we're gonna go on a breather, guys, on a break. When we come back, it is gonna be the continuation of map number 2 between Adamson and Ateneo. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a bit. And we are back. No more need to show our faces. Let's go straight back into the action. As again, quick a little recap as we did take that breather. Ateneo is now 3-1 against Adamson. And that ultimate has been just pulled for the trigger as Adamson is pushing up to B.
Already the running back getting taken down. However, it will be Muto to find the kill to Lopez. Now 4 versus 5. Make that 3 versus 5 as Antonio falls. It's going to be a retake position, but they're in a very difficult situation on the side of Ateneo as they lose a lot of their side control with 2 of their players now falling. Adamson, full control of the side, full control as flank as Abuan. Ready for the swing off a Blanc, but doesn't find a shot just yet. A Blanc to take down the Viper, and now they have some form of pincer available for Ateneo. As Aide able to take on Garcia, and now it's only down to you. 1 versus 3, gets a shot step on forward, but Muto was waiting with the operator in his hands, and now Adamson will be taking a round for themselves, 3-2.
Yeah, that is just the power again of what we were discussing with the run it back. Now this Tactibear is pretty much hidden in the shadows. Maybe a Omen fan. You could see it, right? As well. I'm not tripping. It's
no,
the
it was there. It was
It's
there.
the
Like, when you mentioned the Tactibear, I had to look again just to make sure that was the Tactibear indeed, just hiding in the shadows.
So my eyes are still working in my advanced age. All right, that's pretty cool. 3-2. This, okay. This also has somewhat lowered the economy buy of Ateneo. This is what we were discussing. Every time they lose their players and they let their opponents plant that spike, it's Adamson that takes the advantage. Is Muto with the operators hitting shot after shot. What is happening? They've just stacked up into the site and turned into a kill bowl. As Ateneo, their nest has been just ransacked by the Falcons.
Oh, Ateneo all clumped up together, just served in a platter, and Adamson just take them piece by piece. And yeah, 1 kill was found for Ateneo, but it doesn't really amount to much. It was a save, however, for the Blue Eagles. So, Soaring Falcons, they definitely need to be wary of this next round now. But they do have that operator on Muto, who can look to find more picks. Able to find 2, by the way, on that previous round. Off of that beautiful recon dart from Ataide, spotting out 3 players on the side of Ateneo. So, this Sova utility already proving so much more useful on the side of Adamson at the moment.
Yeah. Able to just, trace back even with the walls being up, right, and everything.
Exactly.
So we can make that happen. It's even better for you. Garcia, though, as well as Lopez. Pretty deep in on elbow. And on the corner there, Garcia should get the contact against Gutierrez. And he's just about to get taken down. Another one, though. Do they know? Lopez around the corner. Gutierrez not overstaying his welcome. Could still get it. Oh, just jumps away. Barely in the nick of time. Blanc now transitioning as Muto gets hit as he runs into the site. Antonio's brought out the Odin. First time we're going to be seeing this. But of course, he's going to start having to deal with players being so close to his cause. 2 versus 2. Blanc does have the ultimate. Could get a catch onto Muto here.
Take flight.
And is pretty low. Nova drone used as well. Now here we go. This is what we call the electric cha-cha. He tries to dodge all the ultimate, catches Muto on the corner. Ataide now repositioning back into the pyramids. Both of them stacking up. Unfortunately, not lining for him, and that's going to be another one for Ateneo.
A beautiful hold from Ateneo, stalling out the push from Adamson, and a few picks here and there down towards side as well. They had a good call on Ateneo to push out towards mid, towards elbow, B elbow, which they were able to do in that previous 4th round, if I recall correctly. And the thing is, right, it works out in their favor if Adamson are playing towards B. The problem is Ateneo, they were able to get that swing at the very least, but the shots didn't land. And they ended up losing out one of their main players on that side, on that B elbow. But at the end of the day, Ateneo were able to go back towards A. Some of their side players getting the picks of their own as well. Antonio finding one with the Odin. And that's all that really matters, right? You're able to hold on to the site that Adamson is deciding to take here.
Shadows traveling.
Now, Viper's Pit used by Ateneo on A. Nobody's going to be home there. Ooh. You, though. Yeah, you see that. Abuan taken. Nice little corner spot for him to get a kill. Ultimate's being used. Blade Storm from Lopez. I'm gonna just check if anyone's just lurking from the attacking team. And Adamson got themselves a battle here as Ateneo is slowly encroaching back into B.
I mean, they're gonna try and go down to the B main, it seems. The null command from Garcia, this is what I was talking about. The null command, beautiful on the retakes. Now, the overdrive no longer available for Adamson. Ataide tucked into the corner on side, looking for the first pick here potentially, but it's Muto to find it. Ataide with a double! Muto, who lines them up, a 3K for the Neon! Adamson tie up the game 4-4.
Solid stuff from Adamson. Ateneo, I mean, they, like you said, they lined up, but the thing is, they had to check out every single corner. They just brute forced their way to B main, which was kind of interesting as well. They were so close on tunnel, and they went around elbow to go into B main, which, I don't know, kind of confused me a little bit there. Maybe a more split 50-50 push would have been better, but in any case, the angles, the crossfires in that particular scene, in that particular position for Adamson was just better for them.
Yeah, I think Adamson just had a better crossfire, and you send so many players on Ateneo towards B main, you kind of lose the potential of a crossfire of your own, and
exactly.
Lopez
Here.
has an inkling. I think he does see Manging, and he does, in fact. The shot lands the headshot. The Omen's now dead. One of the controllers of Adamson taken down. Gutierrez looking for a kill of his own. A little bit labored, but it's able to get the kill nonetheless. Ablang falls, and this should be a pivot potentially towards B, but it's going to be a bit risky here.
Well, they're still using, these duelists to very aggressive effect. One more trapped in the site. That's going to be Garcia with the Sheriff. Round the bend, around the wall here. As he plays ring around the rosy, could get the catch onto Ataide, who's right behind the wall. Could be a chance, could be a shot. He's able to get the one first, but look at this wide swing from Ataide.
My gosh.
The dance of death, and he's the one to be the orchestrator.
Ooh.
Takes the beat down, and that is going to be Adamson taking back the lead for one.
Yeah, I mean, Adamson, they are also very much not just quick on the trigger, quick on their feet as well. Able to decide their duels simply by outmaneuvering Ateneo, not just in the macro, but in the micro as well. And you're seeing here like a few desperation plays from Ateneo trying to force some shots, force some angles, and it was a save from them. So getting 3 picks is definitely not something to be scoffed at. But it was definitely winnable for Ateneo if they played it just a tad bit more right. The thing is, what's left of them is completely no one.
Oh. Where did that omen go? Come from Gutierrez. He's pulled the trigger on the ultimate. Pretty big damage as well. Onto the other one, Ablang and Lopez though, able to deal, pushing out into the middle, but it's not really doing that the effect that they kind of want to. The slide for Muto still gets a kill onto Garcia. Another one to remain on the A side, but they know that U is there. No one's going to be on B anymore, and that the rotation is inevitable from Adamson, as they now will be able to plant the spike, forcing U to get close into the other part of the map. Gutierrez already knows the timing, and he has that crosshair locked in. Hits the headshot. And that'll be 2 rounds advantage by Adamson.
At that point, Adamson just won their fights. It's as simple as that. And I feel like Ateneo, they had the right potential there to pincer down towards mid. They were able to wrap around through tunnel and get the position of their jet to flank them on mid doors. The problem is that the shots just didn't land.
Yeah.
And another thing, I forgot who died inside mid doors, but one of the Ateneo players decided to push their own dark cover and gets punished because of it. So Ateneo overstepping themselves despite being on defense.
I think it's just their way to catch off Adamson that just seems like every time Adamson pushes, right, they get value. So maybe Ateneo can take a page out of that book, but it's just not getting the same value, I guess.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's another save round for Ateneo, by the way. Lopez on a Sheriff, and don't really have ultimates to really convert this round either, so Adamson can definitely look to push their confidence, their advantage here as the flash dive comes on forward, but the smoke falls out first. Garcia gets a trade, U as well with a stinger, take down Manging, but it feels like the advantage is still on Adamson, but no. 2 versus 2, rifles picked up on the side of Ateneo from the shadows to go for the flank. And now Adamson are worried. Where are the players of Ateneo? Paranoia coming out from you, revealing his position. Ataide not blinded out. Abwan finding Ablang. Oh man, teleporting right into... No, he actually doesn't get the shrouded step on forward, but he runs right into Ataide, but it's the other way around. A team ace for Adamson, who finds the final kill. They are now up to 7 with a clear advantage in this first half.
I don't fault it. You having the proactiveness to, again, use a more aggressive from the shadows on the wall allows for another point of entry for Ateneo here. The paranoia was more of it was an educated guess on where his opponents were. He's probably thinking that if I can hit this Paranoia, it would be huge, right? Unfortunately, his opponents were just a lot closer to home, a lot closer to the spike. So like you said, they spotted that Paranoia direction, and they immediately knew that you was there.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an unfortunate situation for you, I gotta say, as now Lopez might be in an unfortunate position himself, actually, but he's able to find one with the kill. Muto with a kill for an overdrive. Lopez with the second one, but it won't be enough. 2 for 2 at the moment. The overdrive, the ultimate of this Neon, rampaging through B side, and now the Viper's Fit will make this very difficult for Ateneo to play this retake.
Yep. And Muto still holding the corner here as well, getting that crucial information because his teammates are inside the pit. So no visual confirmation there.
Beautiful.
Muto, the double swing with his teammate, with Ataide. Just, you mentioned, pristine, clean. 1 versus 2 though. You, a chance to redeem himself. Time to maybe work his magic. Now that Spike is slowly dancing in his ears. The push from you though, chases it back to center, but not possible. The decay as well made it easy for Abuan, and that will end our first half 8-4 for Adamson.
Oh, the shots just aren't landing for the side of Ateneo, and I feel like they're getting pressured now once again. They started off strong, and I think the confidence was building, but Adamson just was quick to shut them down. Now Adamson feel like they're in full control. Sides are swapped, but that momentum sometimes carries over, and so the reset, we may not be seeing that here, but Ateneo, they so desperately need it.
They definitely need it. I mean, at least, right, they're gonna change the pace a little bit here. They're gonna have the reset on the pistols as well, like you mentioned. I mean, a chance maybe for Lopez to redeem himself as now the duelist. He has gotten, you know, some kills, right? We were like, oh, Lopez is starting to heat up with the operator that last half. Maybe they can make it happen here. Speaking of which, well, whoa, what's happening? There's someone behind. That's actually Muto assisting Gutierrez. It's working pretty dang well for the meantime for Adamson here. A little bit of time lost for Ateneo, maybe a bit of groove as well.
You able to find the kill onto Abuan. A beautiful pivot, actually. I gotta give credit to Ablang, who actually made his way down towards elbow and got a flank on the player on elbow control of Adamson. And now, it's a 3 versus 2 retake. Adamson, they do have a sheriff in the hands of Ataide, and we've seen him do wonders with a gun like this. Going on slowly forward, it seems, and half HP also on the Omen of Ateneo. They're looking for the shot. Ataide, half HP. Paranoia comes out, getting the blind on 1, but it's not enough just yet. They're looking for the swing to the elbow, the dark cover to cover the spike, but Antonio finds skill to Ataide. Manging looking for 1, gets the recon dart on him though, and Ablang will be able to find the pistol for Ateneo. It's 5-8. That is exactly what they need if they want to try and bring this back for themselves.
Very important round for Ateneo. Again, needing to stop the tempo here of their opponents. Both of the duelists of Adamson really committing to this elbow fight. But then again, like you mentioned, you know, Yu was really carrying his weight in that pistol round, able to deal with those 2 players of Adamson. And ultimately just leading his team into B, plant the spike, and then the round victory. Oh, what is this?
Interesting play.
Yeah. Very interesting play. They're actually chasing for this. All right, might as well just commit, right? I mean, there's no point in trying to prolong this round.
I have the spike.
If you get a catch-off against Ateneo, get a couple of kills. They've already done the damage that they want to. Now it's just Abuan and Gutierrez. Timing for Abuan there. Completely disrupted just because of the toxic screen right in front of his face. Here's the footsteps though, so maybe there's a timing that he can get something though, and he does. Catches Ablang. Now it's all down to Gutierrez on the flank.
I got mine. I'm sure that's what Abuan is saying. I got mine. I got my 1. I mean, how about yours, right? And Gutierrez will not get his, evidently. I mean, of course, it's a difficult situation in the anti-eco, right? Adamson, at the very least, was able to try for a play. They went for a play down towards elbow, trying to get a pick off, as you mentioned, but Ateneo were very much ready for it, already having the crossfires on that position, and they were able to punish them. Now, the thing is, with 1 player dying on the side of Ateneo only, they carry a lot of their firepower into the bonus, and now they should be able to contest Adamson just a little bit here, given the fact that they have Guardians, they have a Bulldog, and you, with a Marshall on a map like Breeze, can do some damage.
Yeah, you also realize that this is Ateneo's buy to counter the gun round of Adamson.
Yeah.
Right? This is just a strat from teams where if they're feeling a bit more far behind, they don't want to play the SMGs because once Adamson or the team that they're against gets those rifles, they might get just you might just feel the lack of firepower.
The firepower would definitely be important here, especially since the Guardians, very much a strong weapon in long range, arguably stronger than the Phantom, in fact, in long range, as Mangying holding on to A main with Muto, and it feels like they're trying to hold on to this A main position, especially since they're reading that Ateneo may be going into this A side through mid, and it does seem to be the case. Taide has to be ready.
Well, that's going to be a Taide on the first contact. He does have a good bit of information to be had. Could be able to trace back the sender, though. Repositioning carefully as a bunch of the Ateneo players are still not on the site, able to plant the spike. Again, you got to remember, with the changes on Breeze, they have to plant at the deeper portion. Now that they feel unsafe there, the call, now that they've been able to push in Defender's spawn, is just to go to B. But the problem here is they haven't cleared it out, and Gutierrez has an angle. Waiting. There it is, first one. Not able to get a catch. This is a good sign for Ateneo, though.
However, Abuan holding on to B main. They have to look for another one unless they get pincered here. They're already looking for the kill. It will be Youth find one, gets taken down. However, the spike hasn't been planted just yet. Lopez fighting through. Needs a gas. He gets the spike. 4 seconds left. He has it. He has the spike planted. The thing is, he has no information on Abuan just yet. Looking for the swing. He gets it. Lopez in the clutch, taking down 3. Ateneo win out on the bonus.
Huge round for Ateneo, able to plant the spike in the nick of time. I honestly did not believe that.
It was close.
It was close, but Lopez, the miracle worker, Ateneo, and the kills as well, so important too. And I was about to say, yeah, the Bulldog there might not have the capacity to get the lethal damage against his opponent, but he was able to make it happen, and they'll be happy with that, forcing Adamson on a timeout as well. Adamson's got to be feeling the pressure here on this game because, again, we were talking about how Ateneo needs the points. In a way, Adamson also needs that because, again, yesterday they only had the 1-1. So even though they do look like a solid team, or they are a solid team, it hasn't reflected yet in terms of overall points output.
True. I mean, 1 point gets you on the board, but does it get you far enough, right? That's the real question here. And I think that's what Adamson are trying to fight for. If they end up winning this 2-0, that puts them on 4, and that gives them a really good fighting chance to get into the playoffs. Now, going back to the game, I also want to point out this one little thing. I don't think Lopez had his tailwind available going into that B-side fight, but the moment Adamson lined up 2 players, he instantly got a 2K, got the tailwind, and got the dash onto the spike because of that. If he didn't find those 2 fast pickoffs, that spike would not have been planted.
That's incredible. That was just really down the wire, like a millisecond of not being able to get that tailwind reset would have just been kaput. Dreams done for the round. Anyways, Adamson has been loving this aggressive elbow play, but with the smoke, they're set up in front of Ateneo. They realize something's not right, and maybe we go left. Ooh, but no, left is A, or the left is B.
Yes.
No, just go to A, just go to A. Don't mind me. Mind Adamson.
Well, Adamson are definitely trying to read this play. In fact, they do position 3 players leaning towards A, and Lopez already did a stellar job on that previous round with the 3K. Let's see if he gets an opening pick. The Outlaw also in the hands of this KO. Shock Dart's coming on forward. They're looking for the play here with the Recon Dart. The Paranoia to try and counteract. It seems Lopez with the Cloud Burst able to block it out. Now, Recon as well to counteract, trying to get some information. Gets broken immediately, but look at the 4-stack of Adamson on A's side. Ateneo, they won't be ready for this. The flash drive comes on forward. Lopez finding one. Siu gets the second one. Ablam with the third. They fall apart on Adamson. Muto. 1 versus 5, Sheriff in hand. This looks unlikely for him, getting spammed out in the box. And I think they know he's here. Antonio, they were looking for the knife.
They're looking for that revenge, too.
Yeah.
Don't forget, that sunset, Adamson got the knife. You know, Ateneo's gonna have, they're gonna have their one of these days. They're gonna get that chance.
Maybe. And I gotta say, I believe that was the first knife of the tournament, of the UAAP Esports tournament. So already Adamson making a mark on this tournament one way or another, whether it be through getting points or through getting knife kills. And I don't think Ateneo wants to get stabbed in the back just yet here, as they are looking to push on forward once again towards mid, it seems.
Yeah, speaking of Mark too, the KO setup flash, like you mentioned, right? It's pretty solid. Got like the 4 stack of Adamson at the back of A. Now we've equalized in terms of the overall points, 8-8. Ateneo is making a good chunk of noise outside B here. And the swift reaction from Adamson is just to set up the toxic screen, snake bite as well. Muto is getting a lot of information. They don't even know he's got him in a blank. Muto's just, again, come hell and high water, just reckless abandon as he goes in for the swing. This will force Ateneo to start moving their way into B, but it is a little bit too rushed. Might be a trap, but Lopez, he's awoken. The beast is here, but Muto still, these fast legs carrying him around Breeze, giving so many options, so many angles of attack, and we're left with just the one. He feels it, Ablang around the corner, just by himself. Maybe a way to take himself from this hole, but no! So many plays done by Ateneo, but Muto just undoes all of it.
Please stay alive.
I mean, Muto just gets free 3 picks. All 3 of his kills, I don't think the players were even looking at him. Getting one onto Antonio, Abuan as well holding onto this entry point. Lopez made it look a lot more doable for them, but Muto just completely in control of this map, running down through site, running down through main on A, to just take control of every single crucial point that Ateneo should have been wary of.
Yeah, sometimes when you know that your opponent might be on the other side of the map, just heat check. Make sure. And boy, they did. Garcia showing his presence as the KO outside of A. And now, not Adamson, but Ateneo. Look at how far they're playing back. Spike's still at spawn, by the way.
That kind of hints the fact that they're just leaning towards A, since the Spike is leaning towards that A position instead. So this just looks like a classic default from the side of Ateneo. Now, Ateneo, they're trying to make some pressure, trying to get some information. That's what's important here. But I feel like they should have used the recon dart. Not using it kind of hints that they're not leaning towards that angle. Muto actually takes the kill to Garcia, and Yu ends up falling as well. The Shrouded Step a tad bit too late, and now 3 versus 5, Adamson respond to this default.
And they respond in such a manner that Ateneo cannot ignore and push the other way again. There is no safe ground. There is no solid foothold for Ateneo here at the moment. Ooh, Antonio throwing away the operator. Of course, makes sense. Just wants to go full rifles in a 3 versus 5. Here we go.
Already, updraft coming on forward. Ablang, it was just a distraction. Antonio as well. Hold on. This suddenly became a 3 versus 3. That jet was just a way to make the Neon look upwards, make sure that they're not looking towards the angle. And now, Spike will be planted. Ateneo have the advantage. It will be the Hunter Spirit coming on forward towards Yellow as well, trying to get the kill onto Ataide, but Ataide dodging it out. Will get tagged, it seems. Blaze from Gutierrez to block out the corner. Snake Bite coming on forward. The wide swing with it, but they punish. Lopez to only find the one. Adamson lined it up clean. Hook, line, and sinker. They are up 10 rounds now, double digits.
Ateneo with some smart plays. Adamson with smart plays themselves. Like you mentioned, great catch and bait on A main. But then Adamson's like, we have a 3 versus 3, sure, but we still have the utility of Gutierrez, the flame wall to come up just so that it separates Lopez with the rest of his team. And you see Lopez there really feeling that pressure, has to get the catch, knowing that his teammates are already in trouble, already outnumbered. And Ateneo is going to be, just discussing what else can they do to topple this rhythm that Adamson is starting to get in.
I mean, Adamson are definitely starting to get moving, right? The momentum is like continuously changing up in their favor. And Ateneo, the thing is, right, they are showing some signs of life in this game already compared to their previous series yesterday. The thing is, the problem that I'm seeing is that they're starting to lose a grip. And so I love this timeout. The timeout here makes a lot of sense. It's only a 2-round difference, yet the momentum, you can tell that despite it being close rounds, the overall rounds themselves feel like they're not in Ateneo's control at all, even the rounds that they have won. So Adamson, they are looking to probably get another with this. They have 4 ultimates available, and Ateneo, they need to make sure they secure this one because their economy is not looking too good.
Yeah, that's very interesting though. I feel like it's just because of how aggressive Muto and Gutierrez take map control. That's why we probably feel like Ateneo is forced in most of these situations, even on attacking side, right, to take another point of the map just because Adamson's taken the other half.
And Ablang gets punished for the wide swing. Antonio trying to look for one, but it's actually a crossfire from the side of Ateneo. 2 for 2. Garcia on his lonesome gets punished by Ataide, and now it's looking for another one. Ataide with 2 as well. You on the 1 versus 2. Spike down on the ground, doesn't have to from the shadows. Now, it's on window. This is a horrendous spot for the spike to be in. You needs to completely wrap around there, but up 1. A is ready for him. The timeout did not go in their favor. Adamson, 2 rounds away from going 2-0 in this series.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the Omen there, no ultimates as well for you to utilize. So that's the thing. This was such a... This is just where Adamson plays, right? They love the, you know, in terms of aerial maneuverability, this is the dogfight that they want.
Yeah.
Aerial dogfights for Adamson here. Just getting into that mix, right? And just having Gutierrez and Muto do what they do best and just be very chaotic.
Yeah, look at Adamson. They are looking to bring chaos to this B main position. Stacked up here, looking for the kill. Ataide to find Antonio. You with the trade to Muto. The runner back can be activated with the curveball. Looking to flash, able to get 1. Gutierrez finding you as well. It's all down to the last remaining player, and it's Garcia at the fall. Ataide with a 4K, bringing Adamson to match point.
That,
Match point.
if it ain't broke, don't fix. They did it the last round. Why not do it again? And this time, it's even more enforced, having Gutierrez's run it back available to him. And man, that was just a very punishing flash that blinded Lopez. Got just completely traced by Ataide, and just just not a good place to be in. Ateneo is all up in that mix.
There's a little bit of a desperation play. They're rushing this, and Abuan able to find 1. Lopez, though, will be quick with the trigger, able to get a kill as well. But they're low on HP on the side of Ateneo. Viper Spit available, but they could potentially be spammed here. The overdrive, crucially available on Adamson.
Yep. Viper Spit does give them some coverage, so they might be able to play inside the ultimate of the Viper to give them some leeway, some space. Muto now setting up on B main as they come in for the push. Relay bolt inside as well, like you said. The overdrive catches 2 already. Oh my goodness, in the blink of an eye. Antonio around the corner, around the bend, trying to keep himself alive as they play hide and seek. But he got spotted. He got gutted by Manging. And that is going to be Adamson. 2-0 against Ateneo.
Adamson looking so much more powerful in this series today, completely taking over both maps here. And yes, Breeze was a lot closer on Ateneo's map pick, but Adamson crucially secured the 2-0, bringing them to 4 points on the board. On the flip side, however, Ateneo, another 0-2 loss for them. Currently not really looking great on the standings, but right now, Adamson definitely a contender for playoffs.
Mind blown at just how strong Adamson have performed these 2 days, and they're not done. They still have so many more to go. Of course, that being said, Ateneo woke up. They chose violence in this second map of Breeze for us. Sure, again, it still ended the way of Adamson, but Ateneo definitely had plays that we didn't see on Sunset. They had more confidence that we didn't see in Sunset. And this is a step in the right direction. But unfortunately, like you mentioned, it just was not enough to get them a map win. So they are looking, you know, pretty bleak in terms of the score. But in terms of the trajectory of what they can do in this tournament, it is looking a lot better.
Yeah, and I want to point this out as well. This more than surely guarantees Adamson. Like, this is the best possible chance for Adamson to be in right now to get into playoffs. 4 points, that's very unlikely to be beat at this point unless they get 0-2 themselves. And even then, you need to realize that this is day number 2. You are in a very tough position. It's very tough for the opponents to really counteract 4 points on the board. right? And Adamson
Yeah.
still have another day on the. Oh, by the way, they still have another day to get more points for themselves. And Ateneo on the flip side, though, they're looking at 0, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I do know that looks horrendous. That does not look good for them. But if they can potentially 2-0 tomorrow, it could come down to round differential. But going back to Adamson, Muto, beautiful showcase of that Neon, by the way.
Absolutely. I think the biggest one for Muto here was that aggressive push outside A main.
Yes.
Gets the catch on mid, gets the catch from B main, and then he just single-handedly won the round for his team, honestly. And just goes to show, I think, how much confidence he has, how much I think he's willing to press the buttons of his opponents to see where the weakness really is. And because of that, Ateneo just could not really find themselves in a more comfortable position to like, oh, we're going to be setting up for B. But then wait, we forgot that we just left A main, and then Muto just comes out, all the backstabs for 3 of us, right? This is too much to deal with.
Well, the nice thing about Falcons, by the way, is that they are one of the top predators among the birds, and what makes them stand out is their speed. And Muto, on the Neon, definitely showcased that speed on a lot of their retakes, on a lot of their pushes, and just completely took over both games, I'd argue as well, took over both games. And especially here on Breeze, as you mentioned, that beautiful A main push was definitely one of his stellar moments in that game. But he had a lot of moments where he just popped off, and Ateneo had no response to him. I think they were just much faster, much more quick thinking. And again, I feel like that's what Adamson is good at. They are able to adjust fast.
They really are, honestly, and they're able to just figure out what kind of speed they need to be at, right? And where to apply that pressure, which is, I think, something that, you know, the other teams that will be facing Adamson in the next couple of days will have to be aware of. Of course, they can watch the VODs here and start to formulate against it, but that is going to be the challenge for them in the coming days. We'll let them figure that out, right? Because we're just casting this game. But that was just incredible. So with all of that being said, and in this battle of the aerial titans, the birds of prey, seems like Adamson Soaring Falcons had the sharper talents. We're going to pass it on to our hosts for the interviews.
Once again, the talents of the Adamson Soaring Falcons, Claude again. And another one, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Muto. We see each other again being the MVP of this match. And just like the analysis of our casters, you guys were quick with the adjustments and everything else. How different was the approach this time for your match against UST yesterday, going up against Ateneo?
Siguro, mas naglacking kami. Hindi nakampante.
Hindi nakampante.
Nakapag-adjust. Yung mga errors na ayos agad. Nung medyo nahabol namin, yun. Yung mga errors, kung ng IGL, yung coach, yun po.
Yes, and speaking, I love the energy of the Adamson team right now. And of course, not just you making the play, but also Ataide as well, giving the moments you guys deserve, right? Of course, Ataide, any message that you would like to give your team? And of course, what was also going through your mind through those matches that you guys had?
Ang masasabi ko lang po sa team ko is sana patuloy pa rin po yung paniniwala sila sa akin sa mga hard read ko, sa tiwala sa isa't isa. Yun lang naman po.
Alright, so of course, going into your next round of matches, what's the preparation now? Going for day number 3 for you guys?
Siguro mas mag-prepare pa po kami na mas ayusin yung comms namin, yung mga decision making, and siguro isa na rin po yung magvo-vote po kami na pag-aaralan namin yung mga kung anong ginagawa ng next na kalaban namin.
Alright, so once again, the team of San Marcelino takes a higher fly against the Ateneo Blue Eagles for day number 2. So once again, for all of us watching on UAAP Varsity Channel, Pilipinas Live, and One Sports, show you some love for Adamson Soaring Falcons. Of course, congratulations still for Ateneo Blue Eagles for not making it easy for Adamson Soaring Falcons. Some energy, guys! Congratulations once again. Yes. All right, and that's the energy that we also need from everyone watching. So, at this point, Angelica?
There you have it, Rex. Thank you everyone for joining us to our Valorant Day 2. And before we let you go, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our UAAP Varsity channel, One Sports, and Pilipinas Live. And Rex, what do we have for tomorrow?
All right, so for our succeeding matches and for everyone excited to know more about the upcoming matches that we were supposed to have today, so feel free to wait on the announcements on the official social media pages of the UAAP and the UAP Varsity channel. So abangan lang natin lahat ng yan. And at this point, again, for all of your posts on social media, don't forget to use our official hashtags, hashtag UAAP Esports 2026, UAAP Season 88, and hashtag for everyone UAAP. We're still streaming live on UAP Varsity channel, Pilipinas Live, and One Sports as well.
Okay, and for those who wants to watch the game on site tomorrow, tickets are still available here at the MVP Studios.
And with that being said, again, a huge shout out to our shoutcasters for today. We have Asurai, Ray Ray, and Abyss bringing us all the action. And for everyone who's still tuning in, still keep it locked in sa mga susunod na araw natin. And once again, my name is Rexler.
And I am Angelica.
And we'll see each other again for the next rounds of our UAAP Esports Valorant Tournament this 2026. And broadcasting live from the MVP Studios, we'll see you all again very soon.